From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
A statewide poll conducted by a new partnership between the Arizona Republic, Morrison Institute, and Cronkite News reveals the race for the White House is a dead heat in our state.
Plus, building a border wall. It's a key difference between the candidates, but our poll reveals what residents really want.
And wet weather on and off throughout the day. A look at rainfall totals and what people across the state can expect tonight.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Carla Liriano.
And I'm Cassie Ronda. Thank you for joining us. The presidential election is just 2 months away, and recent polls show the gap between the controversial candidates is tighter than ever.
The Arizona Republic, Morrison Institute, and Cronkite News conducted a poll that asked registered voters in Arizona how they feel about the presidential nominees, state politicians, and issues that will appear on the November ballot.
Cronkite News reporter Joey Carrera investigates the results.
Arizona has been in the national spotlight over speculation that our traditionally red state could swing blue for the presidential election. That's something that hasn't happened since Bill Clinton was up for re-election 20 years ago.
It is a statistical dead heat.
33.5% of likely voters indicated they support Donald Trump, compared to 35.1% who supported Hillary Clinton.
This campaign seems to be all driven on the two candidates' personalities and how much the American public do not like either of them.
The Arizona Republic, Morrison Institute, and Cronkite News polled roughly 700 likely Arizona voters from August 17th through the 31st. They were weighted throughout the state and by political parties. The poll results were calculated with a margin of error of plus or minus 3.3 percentage points. Arizona Democrats and Republicans acknowledge the high stakes when the numbers come this close.
Even though the Republicans in Arizona have a voter registration advantage, we also have a turnout advantage in the general election and in the primary. We treat every election as a competitive process.
The experience that Hillary Clinton brings to the country is something that this country needs. And if you even disagree with her, I think she is pragmatic enough to lead our country forward and really try to solve problems.
The neck-and-neck numbers appear to level the political playing field. Both parties agree that at this point, there's a key message they're keeping in mind.
We don't take anything for granted.
Not taking anything for granted.
Tom Riley, director of the Morrison Institute, finds another set of data results concerning the presidential race surprising.
Very high percent, 23% undecided.
Polling data shows the undecided respondents largely fall into the 18 to 35 age range, which Republican strategist Doug Cole says historically votes liberal if they show up to the polls.
It puts Arizona in play. The Clinton campaign is now spending money on television in Arizona. You know, historically, the Democrats don't spend money in Arizona because it's such a red state.
Undecided young voters could hold the power to sway the presidential election, and both parties are taking aggressive measures to sway them in their direction.
We've got field offices throughout the state, and they're calling voters. They're calling a lot of the undecided voters to talk to them, to persuade them, to find out what they're interested in, and lobby on behalf of our candidates and our Republican slate.
We're trying to engage voters in all forms of digital, at their home, on the phones, through their friends and family. So it's a way to actually get them connected through this election.
Democrat strategist Mario Diaz says issues like the economy and national security are important to constituents in both parties. He says that many voters feel disenfranchised.
Some voters clearly are waiting for the 3 debates that are going to occur in the near future, and that should seal this election.
The poll will be conducted again toward the end of October. Visit cronkitenews.azpbs.org for full results. Joey Carrera, Cronkite News.
Both candidates campaigning today. The Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump vows to boost military spending by tens of billions of dollars.
In a speech in Philadelphia today, Trump says the increase in funds won't destroy the federal budget. He plans to enact common sense reforms to save money. He also outlined a new tone for foreign policy.
We want to achieve a stable, peaceful world with less conflict and more common ground.
Trump says he would focus on advancing U.S. interests and easing global tensions.
Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton received a huge endorsement today from the Dallas Morning News. This is the first time in 76 years that the publication has endorsed a Democratic candidate.
Bill Clinton celebrated his wife's endorsement today at a speech in Orlando.
I can never remember a Democratic candidate for president that had as many prominent Republicans endorsing her as Hillary's had.
also said that she's being endorsed because people trust her with national security.
Our Cronkite News poll asked voters in Arizona for their views on 2 high-profile plans to crack down on immigration.
Cronkite News reporter Katie Berry joins us with the results.
The polls asked Arizona voters if they agree with the idea of building a border wall as well as mass deportation, 2 proposals that are getting a lot of attention.
You can call it whatever the hell you want. They're gone.
The crowd at Donald Trump's recent rally in Arizona overwhelmingly supported his promise to deport all undocumented immigrants. But results from a new Cronkite News Arizona Republic poll found that statewide, most people are against it. More than 68% of registered voters disagree with the idea of mass deportations. While 25% of Arizonans do agree, Republicans are among those who question the plan.
Well, you cannot deport 11 million people. That just is physically impossible, and it will not happen.
Some Arizona Democrats agree.
These are just angry, senseless policies that have no serious impact on the issue of immigration.
The poll also asked registered voters if the U.S. should build a wall along the border. More than a third of Arizonans are for building the wall, but more than half are against it.
Simply not a resolution to an obvious and real problem that we have.
Across party lines, experts we talked to say the political rhetoric simplifies the issue of immigration. The poll reflects a majority of Arizonans are not in favor of just a hardline approach.
If a candidate came in and embraced meaningful and achievable immigration reform, I think, be it Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, I think that they will do a lot better in Arizona.
The poll also asked voters' opinions about Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Statewide, his unfavorability rating rests at about 54%, and here in Maricopa County, it's 57%. Live in downtown Phoenix, Katie Berry, Cronkite News.
Another aspect of the poll asked Arizonans their thoughts on the ballot initiatives to legalize marijuana and increase the state minimum wage. When asked about legalizing the recreational use of marijuana, 50% of people say they are in favor, 40% not in favor, and 10% are still undecided. When asked about Proposition 206, which would raise the minimum wage to $12 an hour by 2020, 61.3% of people asked say they are in favor, 31% not in favor, and the remaining 7.7% are still undecided. For the full results and continuing coverage on the election, you can go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org and find Cronkite News on Facebook and Twitter for live updates.
There are plenty of undecided voters in Arizona. Hillary Clinton's campaign is working to win over young Latino voters who could give her an edge. Cronkite News reporter Jamie Flores shows us some of the Democratic Party outreach efforts in Phoenix.
I'm a volunteer with the Hillary for Arizona here in Phoenix.
Anna Abethia is spending her evening volunteering at Democratic Party headquarters in Phoenix. She's calling registered Democratic voters to make sure they show up on Election Day.
It starts with us. It starts with the young people. Without us doing something, our country isn't going to make it.
Not only did Trump mess up his first international engagement,
we will treat everyone with dignity, respect, and compassion.
Both presidential candidates are trying to win over young voters in the battleground state of Arizona. According to the Pew Research Center, millennials make up nearly half of eligible Hispanic voters.
We're doing a lot of Spanish radio and social media to make sure that we're also trying to reach young Latinos that largely, follow and get their news from other friends.
Including friends who are not eligible to vote.
A lot of undocumented youth who cannot vote, but they have a lot of friends who can vote. One of the biggest programs that we've launched with the Hillary for America campaign is Mi Sueño, Tu Voto, encouraging people, that means my dream, your vote.
Clinton's campaign is spending money in Arizona, which usually votes Republican. She's counting on young voters, especially Latinos, who will help change this traditionally red state blue. In Phoenix, Jamie Flores, Cronkite News.
It's a victory for an Arizona representative in Washington that gave way to a somber celebration today.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we take you to Arlington National Cemetery, where a special burial honored a group of women veterans.
Plus, a roundtable discussion on better care for Valley veterans, featuring an aspiring second lady.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
As Hillary Clinton prepares for her town hall meeting tonight, Ann Holton, the wife of vice presidential candidate Tim Kaine, held a roundtable discussion where military veterans expressed their concerns over several issues affecting them. Jesse Canales tells us why several veterans believe Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine are the best candidates to tackle said issues.
And we are so proud of how great our military is.
Several veterans came out in support of Virginia's former Secretary of Education for the Commonwealth and Holton's roundtable discussion. Holton says she understands veterans' concerns, such as transitioning back to civilian life, because her son currently serves in the military.
And I know it's going to be hard for him, and it's a little bit difficult for us as a family, of me as a wife with 2 kids. How are we going to manage that?
My son is in the Marine Corps. Somebody's a Marine here. Tomas, hoorah!
Several veterans who spoke in favor of Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine said their experience gives them the best understanding of veterans' issues.
I think Hillary's got the veterans' issues down cold, okay? She's been around a very long time. She's seen them all. She's been with their families. She knows what they need.
Tim Seifert, Republican Party Communications Director, says his party, especially Senator John McCain, is working for veterans.
He is maximizing his influence in Congress to help veterans.
But one veteran disagreed, saying he is dismayed with some Republicans he feels don't vote for vets.
McCain voted against the GI Bill a few years ago. There was a recent veterans bill that came up to the Senate. Only 2 Republican senators voted for it.
Seifert says the contrary is true.
It's right in our platform to honor the sacred commitment, the sacrifice that veterans have made.
Holton says she will take what she learned back to Hillary and Tim. From Phoenix, Jesse Canales, Cronkite News.
Another veteran service was honored today at Arlington National Cemetery, fulfilling Elaine Harmon's last wish a year after her death. Cronkite News reporter Dylan Eddy was at Arlington, where WASPs, Women Air Force Service pilots from World War II, are once again getting their due.
It took an act of Congress, but Elaine Harmon, a World War II WASP, was finally laid to rest this morning at Arlington, the nation's most famous veteran cemetery. This used to be the typical scene for WASPs like Harmon. But that all changed when the U.S. Army ruled last year that WASP should never have been granted access to Arlington in the first place. For Harmon, who passed away in April 2015 at age 95, that meant her ashes had to be kept in a bedroom closet while her family worked to overturn the Pentagon's policy on Arlington. Harmon's granddaughter was one of the people leading that fight.
So I was lucky enough to make it to the hospice and see her before she left us. And this time it was our turn to sing her Mares y Dotes and Does and Dotes. And then she took her final flight.
Harmon's family decided to fight the ruling that kept WASPs out of Arlington. With the help of the media, they were able to receive more than 175,000 petition signatures. This petition grabbed the attention of Arizona Representative Martha McSally.
And so we were so honored to have somebody like her in Congress fighting for us and so passionate about our issue and making sure that it got carried through to completion.
McSally sponsored the bill that cleared the way for today's service. She explained her passion for veteran rights while speaking there.
We got a lot of things we're still trying to do, and it can be frustrating at times here in DC, but days like today make it all worth it because, you know, we saw a problem, we fixed a problem. It helped veterans, it helped women. This is what I'm passionate about, and I'm going to continue to do that.
Today's service was a memorial. It was also a day for celebration. One of the granddaughters told me that today was about honoring their grandmother's dying wish and the WASP's legacy at Arlington National Cemetery. Live in Washington, I'm Dylan Eddy, Cronkite News.
Waiting for your flight at the airport may take just a little less time now.
Coming up on Cronkite News, a look at TSA wait times across the nation.
It's cooler in the valley today at 87 degrees, but will that change? I'll have your full forecast up here next on Cronkite News.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm always searching to feel like I fit into something.
We are the people that we are because of our past.
I'm just one of many who stopped being silent.
It's just proof of how far we have come.
Make sure in all the hustle and bustle, we don't lose sight of why we're here.
It all boils down to communicating the lives we live.
If you look closely, they've got a story to tell.
It connects with you in a very deep way.
Wish you love, peace, and soul. Come with us on this great adventure.
I've been getting used to waking up.
Come and play with us.
Onward and onward.
Good ideas open up a whole new world of possibilities.
The more you know about history, the more you know about yourself.
The sky is the limit.
Where I go, there you are.
TSA officials say that summer travelers weren't waiting in TSA lines as long as they used to. They say that nearly all summer travelers had a wait time of less than 30 minutes this year. The federal organization credits the short wait times to 2 funding shifts in the TSA budget. The new budget allows them to hire more than 1,000 people to be screeners. They also converted nearly 2,000 people from part-time officers to full-time. Officials ensure they are still keeping travelers safe, boasting their record number of guns seized from carry-on baggage.
A Colorado mine that spilled millions of gallons of contaminated water has been declared a Superfund site. The Gold King mine spill impacted rivers in 3 states. With the EPA naming the site a Superfund, a multi-million-dollar cleanup of the mine and 47 others nearby will be conducted.
Remnants of Tropical Depression Newton are still drenching parts of Arizona. The storm made landfall in Mexico as a hurricane and has since been downgraded to a depression. Residents of Tucson loaded up on sandbags and other supplies, but did not see as much rain as expected. Newton made his way up the state today, causing rain in the valley.
And the rain making it difficult for road work around the state. The scheduled closure for bridge work on Grand Avenue has been postponed due to the weather. The closure was originally scheduled to take place tonight, but will be pushed to tomorrow night. The Arizona Department of Transportation says that the delay won't put the construction off schedule.
Could be more rain on the way.
Let's check in with Sarah Lichterman with a look at our valley weather.
Tropical Storm Newton is no longer a storm, but a depression as wind speeds continue to decrease. The precipitation is supposed to head its way out of Phoenix and Arizona. For your valley forecast for the precipitation starting at 8 p.m. and heading into the morning tomorrow at 8 a.m., you start to see the precipitation completely leave the area. Your storm rainfall total starting from Tuesday afternoon to now is not as much as was anticipated. In Phoenix, we only got 0.5 inches, and in Tucson, 1 to 3 inches. Here's what you're going to expect to see for the rest of today. Mostly cloudy from 5 to 10 p.m. with lows in 85 and 83. Tomorrow, waking up for work, 10% chance of rain with a high of 78 degrees. Going into your 7-day forecast, you'll start to see Thursday, you'll get a 20% chance of rain with a high of 97. Into the weekend, you see your triple digits. And going into Sunday, if you are going to the Cardinals game, you might want to bring a light jacket because there is a 10% chance of thunderstorms. I'm Sarah Lichterman, Cronkite Weather.
17 Arizonans traveled to Rio this week for the 2016 Paralympic Games. Several Arizonans made the trip, including one athlete we first introduced to you back in April. Flagstaff resident and high school tennis coach Caitlin Verfurth will compete in wheelchair tennis as part of Team USA. Verfurth took fourth back in 2012 during the Beijing Games, but hopes to medal this time around. Preliminary competition begins for Verfurth Thursday. Here in the Valley, a group of Chinese immigrants finding their home away from home.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we travel to a Chinese senior center in downtown Phoenix, a place with a mission of citizenship.
The confidence to lead our country.
This isn't reality television.
I feel like Hamilton reached out from history and wouldn't let me go until I told his story.
I make no apology for my actions. I would do the same again.
How we come so far and yet have so far to go.
Right there, coming up.
In 1920s Melbourne,
Careful with the hand luggage. My pistol's in there somewhere and it may still be loaded.
Phryne Fisher is a detective.
Things could get interesting around here.
Thought they already were.
Who isn't afraid to live a little.
I hope you're not concealing a dangerous weapon under that skirt.
I'm concealing a lot of things.
Why do you think you could just run off on your own?
Because I'm carrying a gun.
The irresistible series, Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries.
Saturday night at 10 on Arizona PBS.
Hi, I'm Charlie Rose. As part of the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at ASU, Arizona PBS is providing a state-of-the-art venue for the next generation of journalists. From newsrooms in Washington, Los Angeles, and here in Phoenix, students engage in real-time, real-world news reporting, broadcast production, and online innovation. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS working together in new ways to bridge the classroom to the community in the digital age.
Chinese immigrants are finding a place to call home here in the Valley. A Chinese senior center works to connect these immigrants to their community while embracing their culture. Reporter Caitlin Greeno gives us a glimpse of this growing community.
The Chinese Senior Center isn't like most. This center caters to immigrants.
English is kind of limited, and some of them, they even don't speak English at all. That's the reason why we emphasize them, to learn English in order to mingle with other people.
And as they learn English, members don't just become part of the community.
Senior Center here like a big family.
And part of that work is becoming an American. The center hosts citizenship class.
The seniors learn English, get a citizenship test, and later on got their citizenship.
And members benefit from others' experiences.
I am a senior companion, so I can help somebody.
Together, they celebrate their culture.
Every morning around 9 o'clock, we have a line dance.
And they look for opportunities to embrace both Chinese and American traditions.
We celebrate not only Chinese festivals, also like American festivals.
And that spirit of celebration can be felt each time members come to the center.
As long as I walk in this door, it's full of the joy. You know, people laughing, we make joke, we share the food, we share everything.
The Chinese Senior Center is a place for people to build friendships and cater to an underserved community. In downtown Phoenix, Caitlin Greno, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, we'll have the results of a new poll on the presidential race in Arizona, and we'll hear about a local program on STEM education that's caught the eye of the White House.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next NewsHour, we report from Chicago on the spike in deadly gun violence gripping the city. That's Wednesday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Attackers and hijacked planes. Now, there's a new weapon, social media, radicalizing an army of lone wolves. Can science turn their digital weapons against them?
Fight fire with fire.
15 years of terror on Nova. It's them.
Fight fire with fire.
15 years of terror on Nova.
God, I'm gonna die. God, take care of my girls.
I felt a jolt.
You could not see your hand if it's right in front of your face.
It looked like a fog coming in.
I brought these people to a window. We can't get out of here.
Everything came crashing